Okay, this one. Right. So before I start the review, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I specifically remember being my first. It was just incredible. It was something I was introduced to as a child when my dad had taped it off the TV on Boxing Day. If you're as old as I am and you remember like sticking the VHS in and hitting like play and record, oh God, I'm so glad I saw those days. But yeah, the Temple of Doom was my first on VHS, and good God, the non-stop fiery action, literally the lava towards the end, the fiery action, the Goonies style sort of tunnel exploration of forbidden areas. Willie getting caught up in all the insects and stuff as she's like pulling the lever, trying to save Indiana and is it Short Round from the like death trap ceiling with spikes in it. Incredible. Man eating alligators, cart rides through mines, and also yeah, derailing carts, plane crashes, hypnosis. The whole entire package was right there in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It had to have been my favorite. I don't think it was the very first one though, so I watched them in the wrong order. But that's it. For nothing else stood out for me than that one. It just made addictive viewing. It kept me on the edge of the seat, on the edge of my seat as a kid. I loved it all. I remember the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a few years back. I remember seeing it, but also remember not loving it. It didn't. Yeah, it wasn't overly sort of impressive, which is why I was kind of apprehensive about seeing this installment. Um, my first, I suppose, my first observation is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is over before you know it. Um, so basically, the main character, he's got this. He becomes in possession of this dial that he needs to find the second half of. I won't give too much away, but yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character turns up at the beginning, known as fondly as Wombat by Indiana, as being her godfather, and yeah, he basically yeah he has this dial that he needs to find the part of in order to change something, and before you know it, a sort of a tuk-tuk chase kicks off around this town as they're being chased by bad guys. There's a boat scene, an underwater scene, and then the final scene, and then that's it. It's sort of over. So slightly disappointing there. I'm trying not to give too much of the story away here, but yeah, it. I mean, yeah, that's my first observation basically. Oh, before you know it. Um, Now, my second observation is, if you'll allow me to focus on face value for a second, I was I was gobsmacked how they portrayed the young Dr. Jones during the opening scene. Had me literally commenting. I was commenting out loud in sheer splendor, in delight, or not to myself. I actually went and saw it with someone, so I was commenting to the guy next to me. And was it spectacular CGI or perhaps unused footage from like a previous film? I don't know. I'd rather not investigate and just marvel in it, to be honest. But it was just fabulousness. Um, so Indiana has been captured. Um, so this is going back to the past, the younger version of it, and I'm smiling as I say it because it was just splendor. My God, he's been captured. He's got like a sort of bag over his head, and he's led into an interrogation room by the bad guys. One of the bad guys lifts the bag, so you know it's you don't see him until this moment. So yeah, they lead him in, lift the bag, and when he lifts his head up, it's like the young version of him. I was just sort of, I was like, I was just staring and staring and staring. It was brilliantly done. I half wondered if they had just sort of made up Harrison Ford, like now Harrison Ford, but fucking just stuck electricity in the Max Factor foundation or something that they'd used. You know, a bit of a buzz boost. Um, I don't know how they did it. I don't want to investigate. I would rather leave it as being fascinated by it. So yeah, they lift the bag and he sort of like stares at them. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, to the guy next to me. And he was like, yeah, 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 calm the fuck down. Um, it was a fascinating element, already added to a very fast-paced, exciting opening scene, including which included a sort of daring fight across the top of a speeding train. So yeah, this was actually doing really well. So the beginning and the opening was just excellent. Um, just going back to the face, um, obviously I have to. The it reminded me very much of the Age of Adeline back in 2015. And it was Blake Lively's film about the woman who she has a car crash, and the car crash takes place in a lake. I think lightning strikes the car and then hits her, and her character can't age. It's fascinating. I definitely recommend the way it's shot and filmed, the acting in it. You'd think something so ludicrous and so far fetched would be balmy throughout, but she plays it beautifully. I would strongly recommend The Age of Adeline. Okay, so there's Harrison Ford stars with Blake Lively in The Age of Adeline, and he's an old man in recent times, but that when they do flashback scenes, I think it was the actor's called Anthony Ingruber, and they get him to play a young Harrison Ford. He's an absolute just spitting image of Harrison Ford back in like the Indiana Jones films. It was brilliant. So yeah, there's a lot of face value with Harrison in various things, but yeah, Age of Adeline, if you can get to see that, definitely do. Um, so yeah, right. Let me just get over myself for a second. Um, yeah. So the opening scene with the train rooftop chase it's brilliant, and it's really, sadly, it's the only part of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny that actually incorporates a lot of sort of stunning CGI and visual effects. I don't really remember much like of the rest of the film that does. Actually, a lot of it's very natural, takes place in sort of on sandy plains and along coastlines and things as they travel across the globe. So although natural, slightly dull because you don't get a lot of the visuals that I was hoping for, but you know. Now the biggest element that I anticipated was Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I I had no idea what she'd be like when I first saw the trailer and saw the poster like whizzing past me on the side of buses, and you sort of see her looking up, all serious, with a sort of triangular hairdo. I was like, oh God, will she? Won't she? And why? Basically, why is she there? Why has she been cast? It was just seemed really random. Um, so I mainly thought, because of Fleabag, basically, will this sort of dry BBC sitcom style high flyer deliver the goods and sort of break out of her standard or typecast, basically? Okay, so she was basically Fleabag, but an altered version. So she still had the same sort of same dry, quick wit, dropping the wisecracks style character. Um, she, yeah, she was that sort of character again. But where she needed to deliver, she really fucking did. She was actually, hands down, she was brilliant. She gave a very convincing performance in both like quite serious emotional scenes, as well as yeah, as well as sort of the whole swashbuckling adventurous stuff. Um, so yeah, moments of like discovery and excitement were just that. Moments of sort of jerking sadness were believable, and yeah, I mean, she's not an overly terrible actress, but Phoebe is virtually the same in anything I ever see her in. So yeah, forgive me for being a little bit apprehensive, but well, that's the way it rolls with her. She's similar to like Catherine Tate. You know, Catherine Tate delivers the same style of performance, as in she will never be in a TV show or a film, be it sad and slow or sort of fast paced and witty, without having that, yeah, no, no, like, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing that Catherine Tate does. So she's like, 1 minute she's having a go at someone. What are you saying? 1 minute she's this, and then she's that. God, no. Do you understand? I don't know if you understand. I understand, but yeah, it's that Catherine Tate. It's the Catherine Tate value. She delivers exactly the same style of performance, like both sort of vocally and facially, in almost everything she does. But then she can really act and comes across quite believable. So yeah, whereas Catherine's no, God, I don't know, that kind of thing. Yeah, Phoebe is exactly the same. Fucked up the arse. Well, there's no fucking up the arse here. She's very sly and slick and dry-witted. She delivers it well. She's a little bit like that. You get that here as well, but she really acts her socks off. And when she needs to tone it down and deliver the goods, yes, it's a winner basically. So yeah, same. I know it's kind of contradicting me saying that, because she's the same sort of style as Fleabag, but yeah, she's great as well. it's really weird. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of tuk-tuk sort of fast-paced tuk-tuk rides throughout the film, where smart ass wisecracks are dropped at any opportunity with that sort of with that Fleabag style sort of expectant facial expression, where she says something she thinks is going to get a response, and she's just sort of waiting for someone to hit back with a sort of similarly sarcastic put down. Yeah, there's a lot of that, but she's brilliant. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she nails it. So yeah, I was quite surprised. As for visuals, so what I was explaining about the whole the cart rides and sandy plains and coastlines, because it's set in such a natural environment. So there's a lot of marine stuff going on, and sort of underwater exploration, which also had me gripped as well. It's quite the clarity of the picture. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of color use. Yeah, it's very clear and crisp. It's lovely. But because there's a lot of this natural stuff, there's not really much need, I guess, for the CGI. So yeah, it drops a load of it. There, I suppose, if you're a sort of special effects sort of fanatic, there's not enough. Absolutely, by no means, there's not enough CGI. But yeah, you would expect, given it's 2023, a good dose of it. So yeah, apart from the opening, there isn't much at all. So that's the train scene, and as well the underwater scene is great. Towards the end, there's a lot of it's quite fantastic actually. There's they sort of enter like this tomb, and yeah, they, without giving the plot away, they discover something in the tomb that it picks up pace again, so it really starts rushing forward. And yeah, it's very Goonies style, so you've got dripping sort of caves. It's very dark and dingy. The action throughout is good and it happens at a decent pace from opening to close. Harrison Ford, he jumps straight back into Jones's boots as if he'd never sort of pulled them off. He adds that kind of he's got that humor still. So yeah, he brings that humor back. But yeah, like I say, apart from the well, Phoebe's great, but apart from the action, the opening and the closing and leading up to the closing, there's yeah, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was over before I knew it. And in addition, so let me actually no, cut that. Not in addition. A negative would be because I've explained all that stuff. So one of the negatives was for me, I think, was the whole the time travel element. It was it wasn't meaty enough. So the Dial of Destiny contains this incredible power, mainly time travel, and yeah, the airplane scene basically where the a number of characters sort of fly towards a sort of rift in time. It When it happens, they land in wherever it is. I can't remember the specific date, but it's AD. They meet one of history's sort of most important, sort of like monumental characters, and then that's it. They meet the character, and then go, and then they're back, and then that's it. So it all sort of the way it sort of culminates is over front of it. That's the only way I can describe it. So yeah, that was a bit. It wasn't meaty enough for me at all. Yeah, I think Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is basically it's an extended tuk-tuk chase around a sandy town with Waller-Bridge dropping wisecracks as they go. It's great to see Harrison Ford back as Indiana Jones, but surely that has to be it now. I mean, the guy is looking tired, and as if he actually didn't want to do this. They must have had to pay him a hell of a lot to come back and film this one. But yeah, like I say, there are scenes they're not gripping enough. There are scenes that are quite decent and involve, a decent amount of action, as well as Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character Helena and Indiana Jones coming together as he being her godfather. So you do get the slight the sort of family ties, yeah, as well as Phoebe just being great. I'm trying my hardest to say something really negative about it because I didn't want. She is basically an altered version of Fleabag, but at the same time, she's caught me. It's like she's just caught me in this web of like. It doesn't matter that she's Fleabag because she delivers a really convincing show. Fuck that. Damn. Yeah. So, yeah, it's worth a watch. This movie is worth a watch, but don't expect miracles because it's like I say, apart from the train at the beginning and the bit at the end, you're really just left with a set that is so natural that you're almost longing for supernatural sort of visuals to pop up. You want something more. I mean, I wanted just something more. It's just very domestic in the end, again with the whole family tie thing and seeing Indiana Jones at the beginning in his apartment, and a lot of it takes place in a sort of American city. Yeah, there's not enough. It's good, but there's not enough. Okay, right. That's it from me. If you're an avid fan of the Indiana Jones films, then of course you have to watch this. Otherwise, don't go running.